In the heart of Vatican City, surrounded by Renaissance architecture and centuries of religious tradition, stands the smallest army in the world. They are not a relic of the past. They are not actors in a historical reenactment. They are the real and official military force of the Pope, the Pontifical Swiss Guard. At first glance, they look like they've stepped out of a painting. Clad in vibrant blue, red, and yellow Renaissance uniforms, they carry long halberds, medieval pole weapons with an axe blade, spike, and hook. Tourists snap photos. Children stare in awe. It all seems ceremonial. But behind the colors and ceremony lies something far more serious. The Swiss Guard is not symbolic. Its members are highly trained professional soldiers responsible for the personal protection of the Pope. They guard entrances, control access points, and are trained in modern firearms, counter-terrorism tactics, and close protection operations. The halberd may look medieval, but beneath the surface lies 21st century security expertise. Why, then, do they still carry a weapon that looks like it belongs on a battlefield from 1500? To understand that, we must travel back to a violent and unstable Europe, a time when mercenaries ruled battlefields and loyalty was bought with gold. In the late 15th century, Swiss soldiers had a fearsome reputation. The mountainous cantons of Switzerland produced some of the most disciplined and formidable infantry in Europe. Their mastery of pike formations and halberd combat made them nearly unstoppable. Kings and popes alike competed to hire Swiss mercenaries. In 1506, Pope Julius II, known as a warrior pope, sought the finest soldiers to defend the Papal States. On January 22, 1506, 150 Swiss soldiers marched into Rome. That day marked the birth of the Pontifical Swiss Guard. More than 5 centuries later, the tradition continues uninterrupted. But the halberd they carry today is more than a weapon. It is a symbol of loyalty, sacrifice, and oath sworn to defend the Pope, even at the cost of their lives. And that oath has been tested in blood. The defining moment of the Swiss Guard's history came in 1527 during the catastrophic sack of Rome. At that time, Pope Clement VII faced the fury of the troops of Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, mutinous, unpaid, and brutal. An army of roughly 20,000 imperial soldiers stormed Rome. What followed was one of the darkest chapters in Italian history. On May 6, 1527, chaos consumed the city. Only 189 Swiss guards stood between the Pope and annihilation. The invaders overwhelmed Rome's defenses. Churches were looted. Citizens were slaughtered. The Vatican itself was threatened. As imperial troops surged towards St. Peter's Basilica, the Swiss Guard formed a last defensive stand on its steps. Outnumbered nearly 100 to 1, they fought with halberds, swords, and sheer determination. 147 Swiss guards died that day. Their sacrifice allowed Pope Clement VII to escape through the secret Passetto di Borgo, an elevated fortified corridor connecting the Vatican to Castel Sant'Angelo. Because of their stand, the papacy survived. To this day, May 6th is the day new Swiss guards swear their oath, commemorating the fallen heroes of 1527. They pledge to faithfully, loyally, and honorably serve the reigning pope, sacrificing even their lives if necessary. The halberd they carry is not nostalgia. It is a reminder that once, on the steps of St. Peter's, Swiss guards stood against impossible odds and kept their oath in blood. Becoming a Swiss Guard is not easy. It is not open to the world. To qualify, a recruit must be Malia, Swiss citizen, practicing Roman, Catholic between 19 and 30 years old, at least 174 centimeters tall, have completed Swiss military training. They must also have an unblemished reputation and a commitment to live within the disciplined structure of Vatican service. Switzerland, known today for neutrality, once exported some of Europe's most feared soldiers. That legacy lives on in the Guard. Recruits undergo further training in Vatican City, including firearms instruction, security procedures, VIP protection, martial arts, and crowd control. The halberd is part of ceremonial drill. But make no mistake, every guard is trained to use modern pistols, submachine guns, and advanced communication systems. Behind the Renaissance facade stands a modern security force. And yet, the halberd remains. Why? Because the Swiss Guard is not merely security. It is living history. Its presence symbolizes continuity in a church that traces its roots back 2 millennia. To remove the halberd would sever a visual link to its origin story, a story written in 1527. But tradition alone is not the only reason. There is also psychology. The Uniform and Halberd Project Authority. They communicate heritage, discipline, and readiness. In a world of suits and sunglasses, the Swiss Guard stands unmistakable. An unmistakable presence deters threats. Many believe the Swiss Guard uniform was designed by Michelangelo. It wasn't. The modern design dates to 1914 and was created by Commander Jules Rapond. However, its Renaissance style reflects artwork from the era of Pope Julius II. The colors, blue, red, and yellow, represent the Medici family, particularly Pope Clement VII. The uniform weighs several pounds and is meticulously tailored. Each guard is fitted individually. It takes hours to put on correctly. For formal ceremonies, guards wear a polished helmet adorned with an ostrich feather, red for officers, black or white for others. Yet beneath this theatrical exterior lies Kevlar protection and modern equipment when required. When guarding high-risk events, Swiss guards carry concealed firearms and coordinate with Vatican police and Italian authorities. The halberd, again, is ceremonial during standard duty, but symbols matter. The uniform and halberd together create an aura that transcends time. It tells visitors, this institution has endured empires, wars, and revolutions, and it still stands. The 20th and 21st centuries brought new dangers. In 1981, Pope John Paul II survived an assassination attempt in St. Peter's Square. While Italian security services played the primary response role, the event reshaped Vatican security forever. Today, the Swiss Guard trains in counter-terrorism and emergency response scenarios. They coordinate closely with the Vatican Gendarmerie. They operate surveillance systems and manage access control at one of the most symbolically powerful sites on Earth. Yet the halberd remains part of visible duty. Why? Because security is not only about force, it is about perception. The Swiss Guard's distinct presence reminds the world that the Vatican is not defenseless. It also reinforces identity, a small sovereign state guarded by a centuries-old oath. The halberd is not outdated. It is deliberate. Swiss Guards live within Vatican grounds. Their life is disciplined and structured. Shifts can be long. Ceremonial duties require precision. Language skills are important. Italian, German, French, and English are common. Guards often serve 2 to 5 years. Some marry during service, though strict rules apply. Despite the romantic image, daily life is rigorous. Drills, training, patrols, and ceremonial rehearsals fill their schedule. The halberd becomes second nature, carried with precision and pride. It is not just equipment, it is identity. The Passetto di Borgo still exists, a silent stone corridor connecting the Vatican to Castel Sant'Angelo. Tourists walk beneath it without realizing its significance. In 1527, it saved a pope. The Swiss Guard sacrifice made that escape possible. Every May 6, recruits swear their oath in memory of that moment. The halberd carried during the ceremony is a physical echo of that battle, not because it is needed for combat today, but because it carries memory. In 1998, tragedy struck within Vatican walls when Commander Alois Esterman was killed in a shocking internal incident involving a fellow guard. Even in modern times, the Guard is not immune to human drama, yet its structure endured. The Swiss Guard remains committed to discipline, faith, and loyalty. Their motto could be summarized in one word: fidelity. The halberd is a visual contract, a promise made in steel. Some argue the halberd is outdated pageantry, but removing it would erase 5 centuries of symbolism. The Vatican understands something powerful. Tradition itself can be strength. In a rapidly changing world, continuity reassures. The halberd represents sacrifice, sovereignty, and sacred duty. It reminds every guard of 1527 and every visitor that history is not forgotten. Empires have fallen. Borders have shifted. Wars have redrawn maps. Yet the Swiss Guard still stands in Vatican City, halberd in hand, not because it must fight with it, but because it remembers. It remembers 147 men who died on the steps of St. Peter's. It remembers an oath sworn before God. And it reminds the world that some institutions survive not by abandoning their past, but by carrying it in steel, in color, in silence, and in unwavering loyalty to the Pope. If you're fascinated by hidden history, secret armies, and untold stories buried inside powerful institutions, make sure you subscribe to the Crit Stories, because history isn't dead. It's standing guard and watching. Hit the like button if this story surprised you. Comment below. Should the Swiss Guard modernize or preserve tradition? And until the next mystery, stay curious.